You know that feeling of being with someone and sensing that there is something different there? You don't really know how to explain it. It's not just beauty. It's not money. It's not clothes. It's not even exactly the way the person speaks. It's a presence, an energy, a silent confidence that makes the atmosphere change. And the most curious thing is that many people spend their entire lives trying to understand attraction the wrong way. Some men think they need to impress all the time. Others think they need to please everything, agree with everything, always be available, always ready, always saying yes. And then something strange happens. The more they try to win her over, the colder the energy gets. At first it seems like everything is going well. He treats her well, sends messages, compliments her, gives her attention, does everything he believes is right. But suddenly, something changes. The conversation becomes colder. She takes longer to reply. The spark disappears, and he keeps asking himself, what did I do wrong? Maybe the mistake was not treating her well. The mistake was confusing kindness with lack of presence, confusing respect with the need for approval, confusing affection with the absence of boundaries. Because female attraction does not respond only to what you say, it responds mainly to what you transmit. And today, I want to show you 7 behaviors that affect attraction in a much deeper way than it seems. They are not tricks, they are not games. It is not about manipulating anyone. It is about understanding how presence, posture, confidence, and authenticity make a difference. So pay attention, because maybe what you are missing is not looks, nor money, nor a perfect line. Maybe what is missing is posture. The first behavior is simple but powerful. A woman feels attracted to a man who knows how to decide. And before someone understands this the wrong way, this has nothing to do with being authoritarian, arrogant, or controlling. It is not about ordering. It is about leading. There is a huge difference between a man who imposes and a man who decides calmly. The man who imposes wants to control. The man who decides transmits confidence. Think of a simple situation. You are going out and she asks, "Where are we going?" Many men answer, "Oh, I don't know. You decide. Anywhere is fine with me." It seems polite. It seems flexible. But when this happens all the time, it sends a silent message. I don't know how to lead even a simple decision. Now imagine a different answer. Let's go to that place today. I think it fits the night. Do you see the difference? It is not aggressive. It is not bossy. It is clear. And clarity transmits confidence. Many women spend the whole day making decisions, solving problems, dealing with demands, choices, responsibilities, and pressure. When she is with you, a part of her wants to feel that she can relax, that there is someone there with direction, someone who does not turn every detail into an endless doubt. The man who asks for approval for everything may think he is being considerate, but many times he gives the impression of being lost. And a woman does not emotionally rest beside someone who is lost. She rests beside someone who is whole. So learn this. Deciding is not dominating. Deciding is assuming presence. It is saying, I thought about this. It is showing that you have direction. It is not throwing the weight of every choice onto her. And when you lead with respect, without needing to diminish anyone, you create a very powerful feeling, confidence. The second behavior is teasing with lightness. And here too, many people get it very wrong. Teasing is not being rude. It is not humiliating. It is not diminishing. It is not making heavy jokes to seem superior. The kind of teasing that attracts comes from confidence. Rudeness comes from insecurity. There is a clear difference between playing with someone and attacking someone. Light teasing creates energy. It creates sparks. It creates that feeling of a lively, fun, unpredictable conversation. And that is much more interesting than a conversation where the man only agrees with everything. Most men, when they are interested, go into automatic approval mode. He agrees with everything, compliments everything, laughs at everything, avoids disagreeing with anything. He walks on eggshells as if any opinion of his own would ruin everything, but without realizing it, he erases his own personality. and no one feels deeply attracted to someone who seems to be only trying to please. Imagine she says she is going to be late. An ordinary man replies, "That's okay, no problem, take your time." Polite? Yes, but without energy. Now imagine him replying with good humor, "Let me guess, you're standing in front of the wardrobe saying you have nothing to wear." She will probably laugh. Maybe she'll say, "Wow, how absurd." But inside, that creates a moment. It creates memory. It creates lightness. That is the point. Attraction needs emotion, and emotion is not born from a completely predictable conversation. When you tease with lightness, you communicate something without saying it directly. I am not intimidated. I like you, but I am not desperate for your approval. That is strong. Because anyone can give a compliment, especially when a woman is beautiful, she has already heard the same lines many times. You are beautiful. You are perfect. You are different. After a while, that loses impact. But an intelligent, fun exchange with presence is different. She feels that she needs to participate, needs to respond, needs to get into the game. And when there is a healthy emotional game, there is interest. But be careful. Never use teasing to hurt. Never touch deep insecurities. Never joke about something that clearly hurts the person. The right teasing makes the conversation lighter. The wrong one makes the person feel smaller. And a confident man does not need to diminish anyone to seem interesting. The third behavior is not being too predictable. This may go against everything many people have learned. Many people think that showing interest means always being available, replying immediately, canceling plans, changing the routine, putting the person at the center of everything right from the beginning. But there is a huge difference between showing interest and seeming to have no life of your own. When you reply to everything in seconds, accept everything immediately, drop your commitments for any invitation, and live according to her attention, you may think you are being devoted, but many times you are communicating something else. My life has no center. You have become my center. And that weighs heavily. A woman may like attention, but she will hardly admire a man who abandons his own life to revolve around her. Because attraction is also born from perceived value. And perceived value comes from substance. A man with substance has a routine, has goals, has friendships, has projects, has things that matter. He does not disappear. He does not play games. He does not treat her badly, but he is also not available as if he had no world of his own. And that creates curiosity. When she realizes that you have a life happening, she begins to wonder what you are doing. She begins to feel the desire to be part of your reality. And that completely changes the dynamic, because desire needs space. When you occupy every space, you suffocate. When you disappear in a manipulative way, you hurt. But when you have presence and a life of your own, you create balance. You do not need to pretend disinterest. That is immature. What you need is to have such a real life that you do not need to pretend to be busy. Do you see the difference? The immature man takes time to reply just to create anxiety. The whole man sometimes takes time because he is truly living. And that is completely different. The fourth thing that awakens attraction is depth. Every interesting person has layers. And here we are not talking about playing the mysterious character, staying silent all the time, or acting as if you were unreachable. That is theater. And theater gets tiring. Real depth is something else. It is when you do not give all of yourself away in the first minute. It is when your story has parts that are discovered over time. It is when there is something in you that is not completely obvious. A deep man does not need to explain every thought. He does not need to tell every pain. He does not need to prove all the time who he is. He simply carries presence. He can be kind, but he is not weak. He can be calm, but he is not passive. He can be fun, but he is not empty. He can be affectionate, but he does not lose himself in neediness. This contrast creates fascination, because what is completely predictable loses strength. What has layers holds attention. Think of someone you admire. That person is probably not interesting because they say everything, show everything, and explain themselves all the time. They are interesting because there is something in them that you still want to understand. With attraction, something similar happens. When you have values, experiences, silence, opinion, and direction, you become someone who cannot be figured out in 5 minutes. And that is powerful. But depth is not coldness. Do not confuse it. Some men think that being mysterious means treating badly, replying dryly, seeming distant, acting without emotion. That is not depth. That is emotional immaturity. True depth is being present without pouring yourself out completely. It is opening up with awareness. It is not turning neediness into excessive exposure. You do not need to tell your entire life story to create connection. Sometimes what you do not force already says a lot about you. The fifth behavior is not revolving around her. This point needs to be understood with maturity. Liking a woman does not mean abandoning your own identity. Many men, when they become interested in someone, begin to reorganize their entire life around that person. They wake up thinking about her, go to sleep waiting for a message, change plans, leave friends aside, lose focus, lose routine, lose presence. And they think this is proof of love. But many times it is just emotional dependence beginning. A woman may like being important in your life, but she does not want to carry the weight of being your entire life. That is far too heavy. When you place someone at the absolute center of your world, the relationship loses lightness. The person feels that every reaction from her defines your mood, your self-esteem, your confidence, and that creates pressure. Now think of the opposite. You like her, you show it, you talk, you are present, but your life keeps happening. You work, study, train, go out with friends, take care of yourself, have plans, have vision. She realizes that she is welcome in your world, but that this world was not created only around her. That changes everything. Because now your attention has value. Your presence has weight. Your time has meaning. When you are with her, it is because you chose to be there, not because you had nothing else happening. And a choice has much more strength than dependence. So remember this. Do not turn interest into self-abandonment. The right woman will not want you to erase yourself in order to love her. She will respect you even more when she realizes that you have direction. The sixth behavior is knowing how to say no. This is perhaps one of the hardest, because many men are afraid of displeasing, afraid of seeming rude, afraid of losing the chance, afraid of creating discomfort, so they accept everything. She changes the time at the last minute, he accepts it. She speaks in a disrespectful way, he swallows it. She cancels and reappears when she wants, he pretends everything is fine. She tests boundaries, he smiles, so he does not lose her. But there is an uncomfortable truth. Whoever has no boundaries loses respect. And without respect, attraction weakens. Saying no is not being rude. It is having a center. You can say no calmly, without raising your voice, without drama, without needing to write a huge text of justification. Today, I can't. I don't like it that way. I'd rather arrange another day. I didn't like that. For me, that doesn't work. Simple, clear, mature. When you say no calmly, you show that you are not desperate for the other person's approval. You show that you have values. You show that you do not abandon yourself to keep someone close. And interestingly, this makes your yes worth more. Because if you say yes to everything, your yes does not mean much. But when you know how to say no, your yes has weight. It shows a real choice. Many men want to be desired, but they are afraid of being respected. Because respect requires boundaries, and boundaries can create discomfort. But one thing needs to be clear. The person who only stays when you have no boundaries does not like you. They like how easy it is to control you. And that is not connection. The seventh thing is making her feel emotionally chosen. But it is very important to understand this the right way. We are not talking about possession. We are not talking about control. We are not talking about treating someone like property. That is insecurity, not masculinity. What really moves a woman is feeling that beside you, she is seen in a way she does not find just anywhere. It is feeling that you notice details, that you pay attention to what she says, that you understand what she feels, even when she does not explain it perfectly, that you have enough presence to see beyond appearance. Because anyone can compliment the hair, the body, the smile, but few men know how to see the person behind it. And that creates deep connection. When a woman feels that you truly see her, without flattering, without idealizing, without placing her on a pedestal, something changes. She does not feel only desired, she feels recognized. And being recognized is much stronger than being merely complimented. But here there is a balance. Making someone feel chosen does not mean humiliating yourself. It does not mean accepting anything. It does not mean erasing yourself. It means being present with intention. It is looking into her eyes when you talk. It is remembering something important she said. It is noticing when she is different. It is complimenting her in a specific way, not a generic one. It is showing desire without desperation. It is giving attention without losing dignity. That is rare, because many men fall into two extremes. Either they are too needy and suffocate, or they try to seem too cold and create no connection at all. The man who truly leaves a mark is the one who combines presence with firmness. He knows how to be affectionate without being dependent. He knows how to be intense without being desperate. He knows how to be caring without abandoning his boundaries. He knows how to choose someone without ceasing to choose himself. And that is the central point of everything. Attraction is not born only from what you do. It is born from who you are being while you do it. You can send a message and seem needy, or you can send the same message and seem confident. The difference is in the energy behind it. You can compliment and seem desperate for a return, or you can compliment calmly, like someone who appreciates but does not beg. You can ask her out like someone asking for permission to exist, or you can ask like someone who has presence and direction. The way changes everything. Deep down, these 7 behaviors point to the same thing: inner firmness. The man who decides, who teases with lightness, who is not too predictable, has inner firmness. The deep man, who does not revolve around her, who knows how to say no, who makes a woman feel seen without possessing her, has inner firmness. And this is what many do not understand. Attraction is not about becoming another person. It is about stopping behaving like someone who needs approval to have value. Because while you try to prove that you deserve to be chosen, you lose naturalness, lose lightness, lose presence. And presence is what leaves the strongest mark. There is no point memorizing lines if inside you are insecure. There is no point learning techniques if you keep abandoning your boundaries. There is no point seeming confident for 5 minutes if, at the first pressure, you fall apart. The woman notices, maybe not rationally. Maybe she does not know how to explain it. But she feels it. She feels when you are trying too hard to please. She feels when you are afraid to disagree. She feels when your life is empty. She feels when you need her to feel like someone. She feels when your compliment comes from neediness, not from presence. And she also feels the opposite. She feels when you have direction. She feels when you have calm. She feels when you know how to play. She feels when you do not despair. She feels when you have boundaries. She feels when you truly see her. And that creates attraction in a way that no ready-made line can create. So if you want to be more attractive, stop asking only, what should I say? Start asking, what kind of man am I becoming? Because in the end, your posture speaks before your mouth. The way you decide, how you respond, how you deal with silence, how you sustain boundaries, how you maintain your life, how you treat someone, and how you treat yourself communicates everything. And the truth is simple. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to be cold. You do not need to be rich. You do not need to be the best looking man in the room. You need to be authentic. An authentic man does not chase approval all the time. He improves himself. He learns. He takes care of his own life. He respects the woman beside him, but he also respects himself. He does not use games to trap anyone. He creates enough presence so that being near him is a different experience. And when that happens, attraction stops being something you beg for. It begins to arise naturally, because a woman does not connect deeply with a man who lives trying to convince her of his own value. She connects with a man who lives that value. So remember this: be kind, but do not be weak. Be present, but do not be dependent. Be caring, but do not be without boundaries. Be intense, but do not be desperate. Be confident, but never arrogant. And above all, do not try to transform yourself into someone false to win someone over. True attraction begins when you stop acting and start existing with presence, direction, and self-respect. Because when you respect yourself, your energy changes. And when your energy changes, the way people see you also changes. If this content made sense to you, take the opportunity now and subscribe to the channel. Here we talk about behavior, presence, communication, and attitude so you can stand out without needing to stop being who you are. And remember, the goal is not to make someone like an invented version of you. The goal is to become so whole that your presence speaks for you.